Greetings. This is Mushtaq Memon, Professor Emeritus from Washington State University. It's my pleasure to have Angelina Johnson, second year veterinary students at the University of Missouri. And we have spent last 2, 3 days talking about different things. And she was the instrumental really to bring me here to speak to her group. And she is a very well accomplished student leader. She's the president of her class, and she has already started one club, which is a student club for anesthesia and analgesia. So she will tell a little more about herself, I think. So I would request Angelina to please
Sure.
introduce yourself.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here and voice my perspective on being a student and my journey so far. I am originally from Oahu, Hawaii. I was born and raised there. And from a young age, I wanted to be a veterinarian. So I knew that I would have to get there some way. We don't have a veterinary college in Hawaii. So I anticipated moving to the mainland one way or the other. We started, or I started off going to veterinary technician school and got that degree, became an RVT, a registered veterinary technician, and then pursued my bachelor's degree by transferring to the University of Hawaii at Hilo on the Big Island. I finished there and then moved to Columbia, Missouri. It was during my senior year of my undergrad where I was able to move and finish my final semester online due to COVID. So that was one nice thing, I suppose, that came out of it. And I was able to start establishing residency early. And that allowed me to continue working as an RVT. I started working at the University of Missouri Veterinary Teaching Hospital, and that was in small animal anesthesia. So I became very passionate about anesthesia that way, and it's influenced my career up to this point quite a bit. So that's a bit about me, and I am interested in general about acupuncture and TCVM. So I was very excited to incorporate Chi University and have Dr. Memon come out and teach us. So I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you. I think those of our viewers or audience from other countries may not be aware that in the United States, just like Angelina went through, we have prerequisites to get in veterinary college, and those prerequisites sometimes takes 3 years, sometimes 4 years. But Angelina went through a different route, and she became a registered veterinary technician, and in that way, also she received her bachelor's degree and then get in veterinary college, which is a 4 year curriculum. So what Angelina is referring is that Hawaii, one of our state in the United States, does not have a veterinary college. And come to think of, out of 50 states, only we have 34, 35 veterinary colleges. So it's very difficult for students to get in to start with, and especially if you are from the state which does not have a veterinary college, you have to compete with other students to get in. And what she mentioned was to establish a residency because our education, especially veterinary colleges, are the universities which are run by the state. So the state residents pay the taxes, and this is how the education is run. So she became a resident of the state of Missouri so that she can get in University of Missouri Veterinary College. So this is a setup we have in the United States, that we are one country, but at the same time, in many ways, we have a different rules and regulation about the state. Just want to make this clarification. So, what are your activities now, Angelina, as a year two student professionally? What you're doing? Are you liking some subjects, not liking other subjects?
Yeah, that is a very good question. We are a unique program in that I think only about a handful of schools in the US have a 2-in-2 program. So classically, veterinary schools are usually 3 years of lectures and 1 year of a clinical year. So that basically means during that final year of clinicals, that is when the student gets to be in the hospital and gets to be that classic med student that you might see on, in TV shows and see the med student in the hospital. So our program, though, allows us to have about 2 years of time in the hospital, or our school allows us to have 2 years in the hospital. But it is very nice. However, it is difficult because those first 2 years of lectures, they are a bit accelerated. So for that reason, our classes are uniquely challenging. We have a quite heavy exam schedule, but I've still enjoyed it. There are a lot of clubs to participate in. As Dr. Memon mentioned, I did start the Anesthesia and Analgesia Club this year. I'm very excited about that. I'm also a partner and on the exec of the Veta Humans Club, which is a club that helps provide educational resources for youth in the community. So we're able to go to schools and do little veterinary displays and teach young kids about veterinary medicine. And I also am on my exec board. So, as was mentioned, I am the class president, and that is sometimes an involved role. Honestly, it's not too bad, but there are some academic mediator things that I have to do sometimes. And when it comes to the classes specifically, right now, I would say one of my most interesting classes would be pharmacology. I'm very excited to start learning about that. I like understanding how things work. I think that's why I do enjoy anesthesia so much, because I've been able to learn about the physiology of certain drugs and truly get to almost experiment on a daily basis with different protocols. So that's kind of where I find a lot of my passion shines through in veterinary medicine, and I'm excited about that. I would say there are probably other things that I do and have found enjoyment in this second year. I like doing pickleball on the side. I ride horses as well, and hanging out with friends, being part of the community here is definitely an important part of maintaining that work-life balance.
So you can see Angelina is not only a veterinary student, she's all over. And, and I, by the way, saw her last night when we were, running this program of acupuncture presentations and lab, how she was interacting with the students. So I can see that she is almost, I would say, she's a born leader. So people follow her, and whatever she says, people listen very carefully. So those are the leadership qualities in her. My question to you is, Angelina, you may be aware of a historical perspective of the universities and veterinary colleges or veterinary students. It wasn't really long ago. I was also in this country, maybe about 20, 25 years ago, where we had maybe a small number of female students. And now, as I see, at least in our veterinary college in the United States, it could be as high as 80, 85% females.
Right.
What is your perspective? I mean, you have been around, you have seen things, what happens. Is it a good thing, or are there some strengths, there's some weaknesses to have, most of the females, what to do with these males,
Yeah.
Please, go ahead.
I remember when I was visiting Mizzou for the first time and meeting with the recruiter, I was asking about how to make my application competitive. And Mizzou, among other schools, most likely allot certain points for different factors for each student. And one of the kind of distribution of points in order to score well on your application was diversity. And that could have been a challenging life scenario that you faced and were able to overcome. It could be literally your diversity, your background, ethnicity, potentially, but it was also your gender. And I was told that men do get kind of some points for that. And I initially was a little butthurt, I would say, that I would not, get those points. I suppose not that it was really a make or break deal for me, but that was difficult to digest at first. However, I do understand that there is value in making this veterinary profession diverse, and while men did have more of a presence in the past, that has switched to more of a women dominated field. And I think that it's important to now, in today's age, still value everyone's unique perspective and have a nice balance of men and women in the profession. But I hope, and I would not support anyone specifically not including women because they want more men to be in the profession. I think women should still be celebrated and should still be promoted in this profession, as well as other aspects that make people diverse and unique. And I was fortunate to still have my own reasons to be slightly diverse, being from Hawaii and having some other aspects of my background that helped make my application competitive. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm here now, so I got in, which was nice. But at the moment, some of the brightest students that I know are men and women equally. I don't think that it truly changes one's ability to be successful in this profession, and I hope that we're still able to continue the trend of valuing people in leadership roles regardless of their gender, and making sure that if a woman is right for the role, that she's just as good of a fit for that role no matter what reason. But if a man is good for that role too, then he shouldn't be also looked down upon because he's a man in that role too. So it's a complicated, controversial topic,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I hope and personally try to promote as much fairness and equality in my day to day, as well as when I'm moving forward and looking forward into the future of my profession.
Thank you.
Mhm.
The last question I like to ask you is because I saw you engage in so many things and you keep on taking more and more challenges that you have shared with me. Where do you see in 5 to 10 years? Where are you going? What you are going to accomplish?
Well, I definitely have a lot of ideas, as we've discussed a little bit so far. My primary medicine interests are in anesthesia and emergency medicine. I would also love to incorporate equine practice into that somehow. And if there were smoother routes of choosing a residency program and being able to have a better work life balance, I think I would do a residency in an instant. I would sign up now if that was the case. If pay was better, if the work environment was better. But I think there's a lot that the veterinary profession is working on to improve all of those factors for future specialists. But otherwise, if I don't jump right into an internship and residency, I could anticipate working in practice and being able to get some experience under my belt, whether that be in general practice or maybe an emergency, or a little bit of a mix. That way I could also still qualify for a residency if I wanted to do that later on. And then hopefully incorporating all of the other passions I have by being able to get other certifications like acupuncture or herbal therapy if that's what I wanted to do. I'd love to learn about chiropractic care as well, or continue to learn about any other resources that become available in the future. So ultimately, I hope to be a well-rounded veterinarian that can, at least, at the very least, triage my own pets and put my heart at rest when it comes to those things. But I hope to continue also in leadership, potentially work in roles that involve teaching or mentoring, whether that is in a practice or in academia. But I hope to make a positive difference. My motto has always been to make the world a better place, whether that is a conversation with one person or creating a long lasting thing like my anesthesia club. Hopefully I can bring those positive things to my environment and community.
Thank you very much, and good
Thank
luck
you.
to you, Angelica. This is Angelina. This is a wonderful, program you are running, as well as your all these goals. And I wish you all the success. And I'll be watching you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's a very nice, and thank you for arranging this program that I came and met you, and also meeting your colleagues and the students. So it has been a wonderful 2 3 days here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, bye bye.
Bye.